It doesn't matter what your life looks like so much as what your life is built on. Hey guys, it's me again, Douglas, and today I want to talk to you guys about building your life on Jesus Christ. And I want to talk about the storms of life. And I'm not talking about like rain or hail or snow or, hurricanes or tornadoes or anything like that. I'm talking about like metaphorical storms, hard times. Because the truth is that in this life, we will have trouble. There will be hard things that happen. And these storms in life, they can be really hard, really difficult experiences. But one good thing about them is that they show us what's real. In the Bible, Jesus told this story of two men. One was a wise builder and one was a foolish builder. And the person who listens to Jesus' words and follows them is like a wise builder who built his house on the rock. And those who hear Jesus' words but do not do as he says are like a foolish builder who built his house on the sand. Now when the rain comes down and the winds blow and the flood comes up, the house that was built on the rock stands. But the house that was built on the sand falls. It's a pretty common story. You've probably heard this story told somewhere. Maybe you've even seen a visual representation of this. And I've seen a lot of pictures that go along with this story. And I've noticed a big problem in just about every picture I've seen of this story. Because just about every picture I've ever seen shows the wise man and his house is built out of stone. It's a big, strong, sturdy house. And then the foolish builder, the foolish man, his house is made out of junky stuff. It looks kind of trashy and hastily made. It's not a good looking house. It's almost like they're drawing inspiration from the Three Little Pigs. The one little pig, he had a house that was made out of straw, and another little pig had a house made out of sticks. And then the third little pig, he had a house made out of brick. And then when the wolf came and he huffed and he puffed and he blew the houses down. The house of straw blew away and the house of sticks blew away, but the house made of bricks, that stood strong. But in this story that Jesus tells, he doesn't really talk about what the houses look like. And personally, I think he didn't talk about what they look like because it doesn't matter what they looked like. It mattered what they were built on. I think it's totally possible that the house on the sand might have looked just as good as the house on the rock. Even better, maybe. Because I think that there are a lot of people out there whose lives look pretty good. You might look at them and you say, wow, they've got a great life. And there are other people who'd say, oh, wow, that's a hard life. I don't want to live that life. Like the Apostle Paul, he spent a lot of time in jail. And he was, chased out of towns and he was beaten almost to death. Like terrible things happened to the Apostle Paul. But I promise you that he would not have traded his life for all the riches in all the world. If the stuff that happened to Paul would have happened to someone who built his life on really anything other than Jesus Christ, that person would be utterly destroyed, right? They'd have nothing left. But Paul, having built his life on Christ, counted his sufferings as joy, right? He was in prison, but he was like, hey, that just means that I can tell the guards about God's love. And I'm going to court, but that means I'm going to go stand in front of really important people and I can tell them about Jesus. And the thing about Christianity is I think that to a point, it's pretty easy to fake, right? I think that there are a lot of people who say that they're Christians, they go to church every Sunday, and they have no connection to God whatsoever. And you could have two people whose lives look exactly the same from the outside. They go to church exactly as often as each other. They tithe just as much as each other. They are involved in the exact same programs. They live in the exact same areas. They dress the exact same way. They talk the exact same way. But it's not until hard times come that you can really see who was building their life on Christ and who was just doing things their own way or doing things the way that other people were doing. A life well lived is not a life that looks just like your neighbor, right? A life well lived is not a life where you follow your heart. A life well lived is a life built on Jesus Christ, period. And the truth is there are a lot of people who try to just avoid storms altogether, and that's what their life is about, is they're just always avoiding discomfort. But the truth is you can't. Life is hard for everyone. Doesn't matter who you are or what your life looks like, you will have storms. And if you build your life on Christ, you might not have, the flashiest life. Your life might not be easy, though really none of our lives are easy. But if you build your life on Christ, you will have a strength that defies explanation. even if the world is crumbling all around you. So my challenge to you guys today is that you would build your life on Christ, because the storms of life are coming. And when they come, you will not want to have built your life on doing things your own way. You will not want to have built your life on doing things, the way other people are doing them. You will want to have built your life on the rock, on Jesus Christ, on God himself. He can help you weather any storm. Hey guys, I hope you liked this video, and I really hope that you will build your life on the rock. Build your life on Jesus Christ. It's not about looking fancy. It's not about looking like a good person or whatever. It's not about looks at all. It's about rooting yourself firmly in Jesus Christ. Building your life on the rock, the only firm foundation. And like I said, you can't avoid the storms of life. But if you build your life on Jesus, you can stand. You can get through it. You can overcome anything. I'm not saying it'll be easy, but God will give you the strength you need. Build your life on Jesus Christ.